Welcome to Up to the Minute. Good to have you with us. It is a Thursday, November the 18th. Glad to have you with us on the show. We got half hour of your HCC news and information and some special guests. We've got a lot of things going on today. We are moving through this month, already the 18th of November. And Tony, my co-host, joining me live this morning. Good to see you, Tony. Beautiful day outside. Winter, or I should say fall, has returned once again in Houston. Well, your mic is muted.
So sorry. And it seems to be pretty windy outside. I'm looking at the trees out there and they're going shh. So it's a fall day for sure.
It is. All right. One thing I want to remind everybody, you're watching us now on Facebook Live and YouTube. We appreciate that. You can also join us if you miss the broadcast, the live broadcast of this show every morning. You can join, you can watch the rebroadcast at noon and 5 p.m. on HCCTV. But you can also follow us across all social media, Tony.
Yes, just look for Houston Community College District. Not just HCC, but Houston Community College District on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can follow us and see all these wonderful shows and other things that we have for you.
That's right. All right. A lot going on this morning, folks. So let's go ahead and get started. Tony, it's Thursday Virtual Family Fun Day. You'll be interviewing this next guest. We've got Katherine Welch joining us. She's the program coordinator with the Bayou Bend Collection and Gardens, Museum of Fine Arts, Houston. Good morning, Katherine. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're looking forward to hearing all the things that are going on out there. So we're going to ask you to stand by for a few minutes. We'll check in with you in about 10 minutes or so.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. It is Apprenticeship Week across the nation. And here at HCC, we have a number of apprenticeship programs. And we've got Chris Romo joining us. He is the training coordinator with Sheet Metal Workers Local Union number 54, and also with the Houston Area Apprenticeship School. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us now. We've been spotlighting Apprenticeship Week all of this week, and we touched on it last with a few special guests. But let's start off talking about your organization. Tell us about Local Union 54, what you guys are all about and what you specialize with.
Sure thing. Local 54 is the local for the Sheet Metal Workers Association, and it's been around a long time. 1890 is when it was started. Wow. So yes, so the local union's been around for a long time and has been involved with a lot of the construction throughout the Houston area. So a long time union. The school itself started in 1939. So the school is a good 82 years old itself. So I think it's one of the oldest apprentice schools, actually, I think, in the Houston area among all the trades. And so it's a traditional apprentice school. We have apprentices that work during the day and they come to school in the evening.
And tell us about your connection with HCC. How does that work? You guys offer an apprentice school, or the students selected from HCC? Do they enroll at HCC, then get transferred there? How does that process work?
Yeah, through the years, we had going back, it was a very close relationship with HCC. We were doing a lot of things in conjunction with HCC. Our payroll's going through them. They owned a lot of the equipment in the school. I think the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've kind of gone off a little more independently from HCC, but nevertheless, our funding goes through HCC. All of our paperwork and our hours go through HCC. And so we still have that relationship with them. But it's not as ingrained as it once was going back.
What are the entrance requirements to attend the school?
Yeah, I was going to mention one thing about HCC. Our graduates from the apprentice program do get HCC credit when they graduate. So we have that connection with them. Anyway, so for entrance, to get into the school, you have to be 18 years old. You have to be a high school graduate. A GED is fine, or a traditional graduate. And you have to have good transportation because you're coming to school. You have to go to work sites. You're working. They take an entrance test, an aptitude test to get in, and they take a drug test before they start the classes. So pretty straightforward entrance requirements.
And is there a cost for the students to attend the school? How does that work?
Now, what's interesting about apprentice schools and ours in particular, it's totally funded by Local 54.
Okay.
So, unlike other trade schools that may cost thousands of dollars to get into, we have one-time registration fee of $200 at the beginning of the year. And after that, all supplies, all books, everything is paid for throughout the 4 years of the program. So that's one of the benefits of going into a union-sponsored apprentice school.
And when the students go through these 4 years, when they are, while they're going through it, are they working on jobs that may turn into their future job? How does that work? And what does their career opportunities look like? Yeah, definitely. It's a traditional apprentice school. So our guys work during the day as sheet metal workers. They work traditional jobs, 7 to 4. They're out in the field somewhere on construction jobs. And then they come to school in the evenings twice a week. And so it's a 4-year program. And so I always say traditional because they're working during the day and then they're supplementing their work experience in the evening by learning additional things about the trade and additional things that increase their value and their worth for our contractors. What I've always heard, especially with sheet metal workers, is, it's a very lucrative salary that you're starting with. But really where your money's made is people are always going to need you and you have that opportunity for overtime. Is that really something that workers can look at once they go through these certifications and go through the program? Oh, definitely. It's a good starting wage to be one, like you said. But if you're a good worker, you show up on time and you do the job well, and you're dependable, you're always going to be working. And the opportunities for overtime are always there. And you can make a lot of money, and if you stick with this as a career, the pension plan and so forth associated with the union is real good. It's a good career. Well, that's another big thing, being a person that's looking at retirement one day, hopefully in the next 20 years or so. But when you're young, you don't get into a lot of jobs nowadays that offer you pensions. You might get a 401k or some type of savings plan, but you guys offer pensions, which is really something that's extremely valuable. How do you sell that to an 18-year-old when they come into you? It's a difficult sell because they're looking at their take-home pay. That's what they're looking at. Some are a little more astute and they see the value of the long-term pension, but that is one of the benefits of unions. We have a great pension plan. The first hour that you work as a member of Local 54, you have money going into the pension plan. So it's something we try and educate the young guys with or women. The young people with, the long-term benefits of having that pension plan. And speaking of 18-year-olds, do you have a number of them that go into there straight from high school? And do you have people who maybe have been in an industry that has maybe died because of COVID or maybe had their hours cut, or people that are underemployed, older, coming to you as well? We run the gamut. We have a few that come straight from high school. We'll have some older ones. We have men and women come in from different industries. We have some that come in with construction experience. So it's really a wide range of experience that they have. And what are the companies that are hiring right now that you're working with that these students can get placed with? Well, we have union contractors. So these are contractors that are part of the collective bargaining agreement. So, we support them with workers. So we're really dependent on contracts if they're working. So we're dependent on the economy. And so typically, a worker might get a job first through one of them and then come into the school, or someone might come into our school and then we find them the job with the contractor. So it kind of works both ways. I wanted to ask you too, what did things look like through the COVID situation with your union? Were your guys still working out there? I should say your people, not just guys, but were your folks out there still working during this? And has things recovered? Have the jobs gone back up since, construction seems to be going on no matter what?
Yeah, well, they're all were considered essential workers, so they worked through the pandemic. So, we had to manage, people getting affected, workers getting affected on the job site, in addition to at school also. But they maintained, the economy was slowed a little bit, but work was pretty steady through the whole pandemic, and it's just starting now, to pick up. But there wasn't a huge effect on us.
Well, you always saw, things were still happening, even though there was a shutdown. The construction was still booming. In fact, it seemed like they accelerated in some ways because you didn't have to deal with people interrupting you. Let me ask you this. If someone's watching this, whether it's a parent with a student in high school is about to graduate, an 18-year-old that's about to graduate from high school, or someone that just says, you know what, I might be interested. What are the first steps? Where do they go? And how do they get registered for this program?
The best thing to do is come down to the school. The Union Hall and the school are located at the same address, the same building. We're right off of 34th Street, north of the 610 on 45. I think there's a map there showing the location. Come down to the school. We'll give you more information on the school. Also, you can get going and set up with the union because the offices are also located in the same building. And then we get a chance to meet them, and we can start looking to place them for employment. We have situations where people start working the next day if the opportunity's there. So it's a matter of coming down and letting us meet them and get them going.
Wow. So they can go to work directly. It sounds like a pretty quick fix if you're need employment, you're looking for a viable career.
Definitely. Yes.
We've been talking with Chris Romo. He's the training coordinator for the Sheet Metal Workers Local Union number 54 with Houston Apprenticeship School. We'll have some information on Union 54 and the school itself in our social media post after the show. Chris, thanks for being here this morning.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. You take care.
Okay.
We are going to move on now, and it's Thursday, Virtual Family Fun Day. Dr. Tony Reyes Sutherland is here with our next guest from the Houston Museum of Fine Arts.
Absolutely. And it's definitely family fun. Going to especially be this weekend. Katherine Welch, program coordinator of Bayou Bend Collection and Gardens of the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Tony. It's nice to see you.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, this is a beautiful time of year to be going to museums, and especially this particular one. There's neat things both inside and outside. I know you have an event this weekend, but first, tell us a little bit about the Bayou Bend Collection and Gardens.
Yeah, of course. So Bayou Bend is a house museum. We're located in the River Oaks area of Houston. It was the former home of a well-known Houston philanthropist, Miss Ima Hogg, and it was since donated to the Museum of Fine Arts Houston. And we've been a house museum ever since. It's been about 55 years now that we've been operating museum. Yeah.
Now, when you say house museum, for those that may not know, what exactly do you mean by house museum?
Yes. So sometimes our visitors can get a little bit confused about exactly what Bayou Bend is. So the house itself was built in 1928 by Miss Hogg and her family. And so the house was built, like I said, 1928, but the collection inside our house museum is actually from about the 1600s to the 1800s in early America. So our collection is made up of mostly furnishing, ceramics, silver, glass, things like that, the decorative arts primarily. We also have a lot of paintings as well. So it's just a really beautiful house that is, it has kind of a dualistic history. It's the history of the house itself, but also the history of the objects within the house. So we understand that can be a little bit confusing to some people, but it's really a really fun museum to come and visit and kind of learn about both the house and the history inside.
Both the brick and mortar and the stuff inside of it is all historic.
Exactly.
Well, okay. Now, I know you have something coming up this weekend and you're calling it Behind the Name. And that's very interesting. So explain to us what you mean by that.
Yeah. So this Sunday is our November Family Day, and we are titling it Behind the Name because traditionally, when you think about art, a lot of the times we kind of celebrate art for the artist's name who's connected with it. But there's so much art and craft that doesn't have a name or a person associated with it, but it's still worthy of being recognized. So the title Behind the Name, it's kind of meant to honor those names and people that never really come to light because of the social circumstances of the time that they were created in.
So tell us a little bit about some of the pieces in there. I know that when you walk in, there's all kinds of neat things to see, but I know the artistry, especially, that's why I like antiques. In fact, if you go to my house, you'll see all kinds of antiques in there. But the point is the artistry of the woodwork and all of that and ceramics and everything was outstanding. But like you say, they didn't think of them as Rembrandts or whatever, they were just doing their job. So tell us a little bit about the different items they can see in there.
Yeah, of course. So, for example, we have a portrait in one of the rooms called a Limner Portrait. Now, Limners were artisans, or are specifically portrait artists who they weren't really named. They didn't sign their work. So a lot of the times we really have no idea who actually painted it. So there's these beautiful artworks that we have no idea who painted. We have one in our collection by the artist who is called the Pierpoint Limner, and that's all the information we have about him. And then there's also things like chests and chest of drawers and things like that, the furniture in the house that was created in like cabinet maker workshops, where the only actual name we have for them was the owner of the shop. But the owner of the shop probably never even actually made the work that we have. It was probably the workmen who were in the shop. So we have a ton of things in the collection that we don't really know who was actually made by, but there's still amazing works of art and really should be recognized and seen.
Absolutely. And like the ceramics and the artwork on them, like you said, it wasn't always the person who owned the place. It was the workers. And I understand sometimes they were children and women who did that for them.
Exactly. Yeah. In early America, especially, there was indentured servitude where people would be in contracts and would work for the masters of the shop, but their names were never put on the craft that was created. So a lot of really underappreciated people. And we go into that a little bit in our activities for this weekend.
So it's very educational also. So tell us a little bit about this weekend, November 21st. Tell us what the activities are, the time and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. So our November Family Day is this Sunday, November 21st, like I said, or like you said. The time runs from about 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., but I'd recommend people get there probably by 3 p.m. because we do have musical performances by AFA Texas, which is a Houston-based music education program whose students will be performing twice, once at 1:45 and once at 3. So you'll probably want to make sure you're there before then so you can catch those. And each performance will last about 20 minutes. So that'll be a really fun and exciting activity that you can catch while you're down here at Bayou Bend. We also have an art activity, which I personally helped work on, that relates back to our Limner Portrait that we have. So you can come and make your own portrait. We have some basically kind of coloring sheets that you can use to create your own portrait. And we even have a video that we made that kind of teaches you a little bit more about the portrait in our collection. So it's fun, but you also learn a little bit more about what a Limner artist is. And then, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we also have Houston Storyteller David Allen coming, and he is reading a book, Brick by Brick, which was by Charles R. Smith Jr. Now, this book, I'm really excited that he's reading it because this is actually the story about the building of the White House in Washington, D.C.
And very interesting. Absolutely.
It's very interesting, and it really pertains to the name of Family Day because it really discusses the people who went into building it, who we don't really know, like the names were never told, and especially the enslaved workers, which it's a story about the White House that's very rarely told and taught. So I'm really excited for people to be able to come out and listen to that book. And David Allen is a wonderful storyteller, so I am sure that you guys will love to hear him. We also have a costumed interpreter, Susan Kelm, who will be there teaching everybody about female textile workers in early America. So again, another very underappreciated population of artisans that you get to learn about. And then you also can visit the house and see some of those objects that we were talking about earlier. We will have a mobile guide that you can use on your smartphone to walk through the house and learn a little bit about the objects, but we'll also have a handout for those who prefer a paper version. And lastly, we will have a prize drawing once after the winners will be announced after each musical performance. And it's for items in the shop here at Bayou Bend. So be sure to come out and put your name in for the drawing.
Sounds like so much fun. Okay. And now tell us the times this weekend. What time do they come?
Right. So the program runs from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. But like I said, I'd recommend getting there a little bit before 3, just to make sure you have time to see everything. And it's a great place to come for this weekend because I believe the weather's supposed to be really nice. There's a big grassy area for people to run around. It'll be super fun.
I saw some beautiful pictures of it. I can't wait to go there myself. Mm-hmm. A great place, both outside and inside. Mm-hmm. Now, does it cost anything?
No, admission is totally free for Family Day this weekend, and parking is also free. So it's a really great place to come and spend some time with family and friends.
Real quick, Thanksgiving is coming up. Do you have any plans for holidays?
Yeah, so we will be open on Thanksgiving weekend. It'll just be regular admission prices, but it'll be a great place to go. It's really Houston's hidden gem. So be sure to take advantage of the beautiful Thanksgiving weekend and come visit with your family and friends.
Yeah, and it's in River Oaks, right?
Yes. More specifically, we're located at 6003. That's 6003 Memorial Drive. We're about a mile from Memorial Park towards downtown. So we're really easy to get to. You can park at the Kilroy Visitor Center, or you can park at the parking lot down at the end of Westcott Street. So
excellent. Well, Katherine, we are so glad to have you on. I mean, I love history. History was my minor, so I love stuff like that. So Katherine Welch, Program Coordinator of Bayou Bend Collection and Gardens of the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, ladies. Okay, we've got some news and announcements to get to. The Foundation Virtual Scholarship Celebration, that's happening tomorrow, folks, at noon. You can catch it live on Facebook, YouTube, and our website. Join us online for the 2021 HCC Foundation Virtual Scholarship Celebration, recognizing HCC's student scholars and our generous donors who make these opportunities available. Registration's required. They're asking you to register ahead of time. We'll have a link in our social media post after the show. Okay, Coleman College has something going on as well.
Absolutely, because communication is vital in both professional and our personal lives. Coleman College Faculty Senate representatives are hosting Dr. Herbert Jackson. He is the respiratory program professor to talk about its importance. It'll be Friday, that would be tomorrow, from 1 to 2. And we'll have information about that in the post after the show.
All right, music to our ears. The fall student music recital is coming up. That's 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, November 23rd. So it is next Tuesday. As they do every semester, music major students perform with their fellow students in a solo recital. You can check that out. It's free. Seating is limited and registration is required. For information, we'll have a link in our social media post. And give blood, get pizza. Sounds like a deal.
You can't lose here. I mean, not really. Join our local Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center to do your part to save lives. And as it says, you can get a pizza. So you give blood, get pizza. There's nothing to lose here. It's Thursday, December 2nd from 2 to 5. And registration is required. So we have information in our post.
Okay, food drive. It is going on. HCC Psychology Department student organizations are inviting students to pick up food donation bags at Kroger, H-E-B, and the Houston Food Bank. Take a photo of yourself so that HCC can show your generous support. It happens through December the 5th. There's still time to take part in this. We'll have information on that later on after the show. And believe it or not, Tony, spring registration is already upon us.
I know. I mean, it's not even winter yet, really. I mean, we're still in fall and we're thinking about the spring, but we have to because we have to register now to get these classes. The classes are small because, COVID and all that. But then we have all kinds of classes. We have online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, in person, and hybrid labs. So, hey, and we have all kinds of money to help you and financial aid, get your education. So go to hccs.edu/now and register now.
All right, get that registration taken care of. Okay, tomorrow on the show, National Apprenticeship Week continues. We'll have Samir Saber here. He's with HCC Southwest, and he'll be talking about our IT apprentice grant. Check that out. And on Monday, Scott Hillman of HCC's cybersecurity program will talk a lot about special projects they have going on. You'll be here next week, Tony. I think you're actually here tomorrow too, right?
I'm here tomorrow and I'll be here next week too.
All next week. Yep. All right. Tony's here all next week. Okay, kids, we're going to wrap up today's show. Thanks for being here with us on Up to the Minute. Tony will be back tomorrow. I'll be back as well. And we'll be live right here at 10 a.m.